Hi, I'm Brad with Big Family Homestead, and today I've got a special treat for you. You're not gonna believe this, but I'm telling you the truth. In less than 5 minutes, I'm gonna show you how to make delicious, homemade artisan bread that's sugar-free in less than 5 minutes. Let's get to it. Okay, so the promise is 5 minutes or less, and I'm even gonna count that in my talking time. How's that? Here's the deal. My wife has become quite the bread baker, and it has not always been that way. It's only been a couple years new. She got this the bug to figure out how to make Amish bread, and then it was white bread, and then it was wheat bread, and now from wheat berries, and then she found this recipe that is so easy and so basic. You know, we started actually bringing it to church for the people who are new visitors at our church. There's a group of people that once a visitor says, "Hey, I'm a new visitor here," we actually take them a warm loaf of this bread over to their house just as a way to say thanks for dropping by. This bread is such a hit that people kind of stalk her to see if there were any extra loaves of bread that didn't make it to new visitors, and it's kind of funny because it gets a little cutthroat, but yeah, whatever. So anyway, here's how this goes. It's super easy. I'm gonna show you how to do it right now. I was getting ready to make this recipe and my wife kind of got wind of what I was gonna do, and she kind of is, well, she's a little bit jealously guards her breadliness here. So it's her bread. So I'm gonna film and she's gonna put it together, but the ingredients are super easy. There's literally 4 ingredients. You have 8 cups of bread flour, 4 cups of water, 2 tablespoons of dry active yeast, and 2 tablespoons of salt, and literally that's it. So go, Christa, go.
Okay, the important thing is you need a bucket with a lid.
A sealable lid?
A sealable lid, you need that. So I take the salt.
2 tablespoons of salt.
2 tablespoons of salt. Throw it in the bucket, just like that.
Boom, in the bucket,
Easy.
Down you go.
Done. Then I take the dry active yeast, 2 tablespoons, and throw it in the bucket.
Okay.
Then I take the water, very, very warm water, almost too hot to touch, and pour it in the bucket.
4 cups of water in there.
You take your spoon and you just stir that up.
So what we have now is our salt, our yeast, and 4 cups of water. This is not going to be a magic trick. It is so easy, it's unbelievable.
Super easy. Just to dissolve the salt. Now, you take your 8 cups of flour and you dump them in the bucket.
Count them. 8 cups of flour.
1 cup of flour. 2 cups of flour.
All right. 3.
4.
Very good. Can you count to 5?
5.
Excellent, honey.
6.
6.
7.
6. 8.
I have to count out loud because the children like to mess me up. Now, you take your spoon and mix that up. Now, I'm getting arthritis. So after a minute, I can't stir this with a spoon anymore.
So what do you do?
I scrape off the spoon with a spatula. And I dive right in because God gave you these first. Okay, now literally you're done. This bread is done until you want to
bake it.
Bake it. So you take your lid and you push it down mostly, but you leave a little air vent. Otherwise this lid will pop off with the gases.
When the yeast gets doing its thing.
Right. So you just leave this on your counter for 2 hours and don't touch it.
Okay, we are now 2 hours later, and check that out. That is awesome. There's no sugar in there, and like we said, you got to make sure you don't put the lid completely sealed, because guess what? It's gonna pop off. So next thing we're gonna do is what?
Well, we're gonna knock it down a little bit. So take a little bit of flour, just sprinkle it on top there.
Then you knock it down.
And then you just knock it down. Okay, so now this is ready to go in the refrigerator if you want to let it sit overnight. But we're not going to do that right now. We're going to pull out a piece and then we're going to roll it into a ball and bake it up.
And then save the rest for the fridge.
Yeah, we'll save the rest for the refrigerator.
Okay.
So you just grab a nice hunk.
About how much?
I usually make them about a pound, which is softball size.
Okay.
Get a little bit of flour, sprinkle it on there so that I can roll it. And it still will be sticky. And this is, we need, of course, 7 or 8 of those for our size family.
But that's enough for most
But
families.
this is enough for most families because this will get big. So you just kind of tuck it underneath the bottom so that the top looks real pretty and the bottom is rolled under. And then I like to put it on parchment so that it doesn't stick to any pan.
When it's baking as well.
Right. When you bake it, you slide this paper onto a pizza stone, or if you don't have a pizza stone, you can just put it on the back of a cookie sheet.
All right, so now you just leave this dough for about 40 minutes. It's gonna rise up. And in about 20 minutes, you come back, turn your oven on. You're gonna get your oven ready to go at 450 degrees, and there's one final step. And that is we need to have a little pan for some water in the oven, and that will make a nice crispy crust on this soon-to-be delicious awesomeness. Okay, so now we've let it have that additional rise time, and this is ready to go in the oven. However, me being a super fatty that I am, we like to take a little bit of what? Butter and slather it over the top, along with some sesame seeds. Doesn't that look scrumptious? Now what Christa's doing here, she's actually scoring the bread and she's giving it a little cut. And what that does is when it bakes, it actually makes it look really, really cool. It gives it that artisan look, and it helps so that the bread doesn't just kind of break apart, as it's still gonna rise some more as it's heated up in the oven. All right, so in you go into the oven. Now, one final thing. We take 1 cup of water and you put it in a pan that's down there. And what this is gonna do is it's gonna create a nice steam that's gonna give that bread a super awesome, crispity, crunchy crust. Now, 450 degrees for how long?
30 minutes.
Booyah, done. All right, so the wait is now over. Let's see what we got. Ooh, look at that. All right. So here is our bread. We've been patient. We're ready to go. Oh, look at that. Holy smokes. All right. This is our artisan bread. Super delicious. Now, once this thing starts cooling down, bread makers will say that you can hear the bread sing sometimes. And what that is it's cooling off, and it actually will make quiet crackling sounds. I can't hear any right now, but check that out. This is so good. I have to have a bite. Hear that? Oh. That's literally the crunch. Can you hear that? Silly. I've got to go. I'll be back in about 34 minutes. See, I told you, I knew that you just wouldn't believe me, but this bread is ridiculous. It's so good and so easy, and it's sugar-free. It takes 5 minutes or less to prepare, and then you've got bread for all week. You know, it stays great in the fridge for up to 2 weeks. So all you do is pull out a lunk and get it going in the oven, and you're ready to go with fresh, hot awesomeness. So please don't forget to subscribe, click on down below. It really, really helps out our family. And once again, I'm Brad for Big Family Homestead, and you have yourself an awesome day.